Hey, everybody, welcome to Live at Chance's House, Season 2. And I am here with a very special guest. We have ourselves yet another interview from the great city of New York. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So, hey, everyone, I just want you guys to know, as you guys have progressed over the last year and you've seen me interview all kinds of people, we've had a chance to meet people like Xavier Valdez. We've met Rob Gaylord from the Nomadic. He's also from New York City. And Jimmy and I connected through Instagram through our mutual friend Rob. And we just kind of started talking and built a little bit of dialogue. We both love music. We both super techno nerds. So I think we're going to get along just fine.
Yep.
Jimmy, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're originally from Florida and then you moved up to New York. Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
Yes. So I've been doing music for a long time. And by the way, this question, every time it comes my way, it always feels new. Like trying to figure out the right way to answer this question because I feel there's so much to say. But I lived in Florida for most of my life. I went to school there. I went to college there. Musician in the meantime, and at one point, just that daydream slash big decision: am I really serious about music? Am I really serious? I'm going to give it a shot. Kind of took over, and I said, I went to my managers at the time, and I said, I hope you understand, like I gotta make that big leap and move up to the city. And so I moved up to New York like that. Like I think I had told you already. Like didn't really have a lot of money at the time,
Yeah.
and the similar story. Like okay, what am I gonna do for work? Where am I gonna live? And was able to figure that out. And since then, I've been here about 3 years. Been doing music, playing with, formed a band, Jimmy and the Band, which is, I think you had already said we have a song out now. And just love it, like the pandemic is kind of killing me, but we're all figuring out like what do we do as we sit in our houses. But yeah, here we are.
So we were talking just a little bit ago about, that transition and what happened. And, you often relate coming to New York as a beautiful story. And I'm sure it has something to do with tying into your music as well. So how has that experience been, like music before and music now? What does that look like?
So music pre New York. I think that New York has a way of just opening your mind. Whereas I think pre New York was a lot more self centered, just about the art that I had in my own head and how everybody needs to hear this and whatnot. And then kind of post New York move, it sort of opened my mind to it feels much more about supporting a network and being involved in a network and kind of bouncing those energies around in the circle and kind of building off each other. And whether you're an artist or not, I'm sure most people feel that way about New York. It just has a way of kind of showing you all the different walks of life and all the different kinds of music and art that's out there. And that's probably been the biggest change. And with that said, pre New York, I was doing my own thing, just kind of like any competitions I could do, like solo competitions, throw on a backtrack, do some dance moves. And post New York, formed a band about a few months after we got here, after I got here. And ever since then, it's really just been about like this music family and getting together and writing together and just doing a lot more of just network.
So
So
creatively, it's been a better experience. And then the networking opportunities, I'm sure, has expanded your base and the number of people that come to your shows and that kind of stuff as well, right?
right, absolutely. My brain's firing off. Like I'm wanting to go everywhere with this because I usually have a hard time focusing. My thoughts just go insane.
I
Um,
understand.
yeah,
I'm the same way. So there's lots. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Let's start with an introduction though, and here's what we need to talk about. First off, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy, he mentioned it. It's Jimmy and the Band. You can find them currently on Spotify, and they have a single out right now. The single's called Fire. Go check it out. You'll see the scrolling bar below to let you know more information. I'll also tag his information to Spotify and all music platforms within the comments. So if you want to go check that out afterwards, you can. How would you describe Jimmy and the Band in regards to, you know, your style? What's your genre? What kind of music you guys writing? What do you want to write?
Yeah.
Now you can go off.
Sure. I don't even, God, no, it's hard to define. We're certainly some sort of indie rock, like meets Bowie 80s sort of band. We formed this band with an open mind. You know, beforehand I was making what sounded probably like 80s dance tracks, and when I met the guys in the band right now, you know, we said, however your instruments start tying into the music and however you feel you can contribute to the music, then do that, and we'll kind of, you know, fluff it up or define it later. But that's kind of how the band has been with everything. You know, me myself, I started playing piano in church like at 5 years old, and I grew up playing music every Sunday on a stage, you know, and kind of learning how music ties into, I guess you could say, like self-centering and meditation, which is sort of how I would look at these church services when you're doing music and stuff. And that had a major influence on, you know, my own music composition, revisiting certain hooks in the song that you just kind of sing over and over and over that are almost like mesmerizing, you know. And from there, I got real curious to just about listening to all kinds of music, you know. I mean, from like David Bowie or Rolling Stones, or even, you know, contemporary music. Nelly, I remember Nelly was, he's a rapper when I was in 5th grade. And I just like started getting real curious about all different kinds of music. And to kind of hurry up and answer your question, you know, by the time I got to the city, you know, I meet my band folks, and we started doing something that's just turned into, you know, some people have some rock background, some people have just some classical music background, and we just mixed all that together to some kind of indie rocks dance jam band. So
no, and I've listened to the song that's on Spotify, and I dig it. And so my musical library, so to speak, is always ever expanding. And I have to admit that the indie rock, quote unquote, I kind of don't like saying it, because as far as I'm concerned, if you're, you know, in rock, you're practically indie rock. But the genre itself of indie rock, I've kind of been hit or miss on, especially over the last, you know, 10 years. There's some music that comes out, I go, okay, yeah, I like that. And then some other that really resonates with me. But this last year, I've really kind of tried to open my own mind up to listening to stuff. And I not only appreciate the music that I'm listening to, but I really get into it and go, all right, I like this a lot. And it's affected me as well. The last song that I just did has sort of that feel. But for the audience out there listening, checking out this first song, he's accurately described what it sounds like. It's got a really cool indie rock feel, but it's got some of that influence, and you'll hear it. I think you guys are really going to like it. The song is called Fire, Jimmy and the Band. Let's take a listen to it right now. Here we go.
Okay. Rolling slowly out of bed, that thoughts running through my head. So won't you light the flame, the stars burning higher. Stay with me, fulfill me that burned into forever. Till I die, my heart is yours to hold or sever. It's raining outside my window tonight. I'm burning inside for you. Well, won't you be my fire? Baby, won't you be my fire? Oh, you are my fire. Hey, baby, won't you be my fire? You are my fire. It's not for money and it's not for fame, but do they know my name? Ready to move, let's play the game. So come on, give it to me. Listen, hang in there, I'm gonna say, do they want my brain? New York City, I'm loving your name. So won't you light the flames and be my fire? Hey, baby, won't you be my fire? Oh, you are my fire. Hey, baby, won't you be my fire? You are my fire. What you looking at? What you looking at? What you looking at? What you looking at? Won't you be my fire? Hey, baby, won't you be my fire? Oh, you are my fire. Hey, baby, won't you be my fire? You are my fire. Won't you be my fire? Baby, would you be my fire? Would you be my fire? You are my fire.
Well, I gotta tell you, guys, I told you what you would hear. And listen, I really dig this track. I mean, and as we were saying before, Jimmy, I mean, for me, I'm always listening to new stuff and excited to hear new songs. And I'm looking forward to what else is coming out, because if this is sort of experimental, we're trying to figure it out. It's a great first take from what I can't wait to hear for the rest of from Jimmy and the band.
Thank you.
What do you have? What's coming up? I mean, just talk to me a little bit about what's happening. Where's the future going? Where's the band happening? Do you have more songs? I mean, where are you guys at right now?
So just to kind of dial back so I can answer the question, when the pandemic started, the band, we had this, just because there was a lot leading up to this moment when the pandemic started. The band had been through a lot, and we can definitely get into that. But we got even closer, I would say. Like our creative power and our desire to make music together got even stronger. And then the pandemic happened, and there was this need to be separated, as there still is. And we said, well, like, let's make music videos remotely. And we started going off, which is one of them is the music video that you just watched. We did that all from our houses. And we're like, let's just put some content together. Let's, use a editing software for videos, and like just start throwing stuff up there, and we almost every day we're jumping on a call. Okay, what can we do? Let's do this, let's do that. And then that's kind of one of the most beautiful things when you're making art and sharing art with someone else is when you're just kind of tossing the ball back at them, and so we started putting out all these videos. And right after Fire, we'd gotten to a point where I think it's just the height of understanding that this pandemic is truly shaping the present, it's shaping the future. And what are we going to do? And there was this little bit of kind of like a plateau that started setting in. Like not a sadness, but just like like what's next? What are we going to work on? Because of everything going on in the personal lives, just compound that with trying to motivate each other to make stuff. And we kind of started going through this plateau. And during that time, I live here with my boyfriend, who you just saw walk behind us. And I would talk to him and I would say, like, what am I doing? What kind of music do I want to make? I don't even know right now, like, what are the next steps? And as I started to realize that's okay, and this kind of aimlessness is a lot of people are feeling it, I just said, I'll take this time to just start trying to listen to new music. Maybe you do too. I have a Spotify playlist that I frequent a lot, and it's like I keep listening to the same sort of songs over and over. I was listening to the song Coco Jumbo. Like, I don't know if you know this song, but it's a nice little jam from like 20, 30 years ago. And I said, I need to listen to new music. And I just started like local artists, indie music, anything I could find on Spotify, which is I like the platform just because how easy it is to use. And I only mention that because I study computer science and I think about this stuff. But like, and then I started getting onto like I started typing French indie music, French indie dance music, and I started hooking onto these grooves on this French indie playlist, and really inspired me for another song that'll be coming out later this year, which is kind of like this. It's a departure from Fire. Most of our music has some loose correlation that if you listen to enough of it, you could tell maybe the same people wrote it, but we try not to be defined by a certain genre. And this track is a lot more like just this easy groove dance track, that just kind of has these ambient sounds going on in the background. That's, you just kind of go like this, and that's the best way I know how to describe it. And then
Understood.
I also started working with a few other guys remotely on a song that's going to probably come out even sooner this year. So I'm hoping in the next few months, and it's called French Kiss. And it's pays a lot more homage to the music that we've done in the past, which is kind of just like a very upbeat dance jam, that makes you want to go out in your swimsuit and kiss somebody. So,
do you have enough material at this point that you're ready to do an album? And maybe a better question would be, if the pandemic was over right now, could you go out are you ready to go play a gig? You guys have been able to do that, or, get together, or not really?
Okay. So to answer the first question, there's so many songs, that are just kind of sitting on the shelf at the moment. And I think that financial limitations may be the reason why we haven't put like an entire album out. But I think that now that with the pandemic happening, both the drummer and I have done a lot of looking into just mixing and mastering on our own. Mm-hmm. And that actually might help us push all these songs out. So yeah, we definitely have enough material to probably put out an EP or an album or two. But as far as actually going out and playing those, things have changed a little bit, and as well as our influences. Like I was saying, this easygoing dance jam is going to require a different format as far as the presentation live that we haven't really experimented with. And I mean, maybe using some kind of sequencer that's going off as like my bassist, who's actually a dancer as well, like do some kind of dance together, like to this
Sure.
track that's playing. Um, so there's some practice to be had. Now that the members of the band, we've all tested negative for COVID, and we thought that was important for each of us to feel comfortable to get together. We are starting to get together. I think I told you today is the first day we're going to get
That's
together.
great. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And we're going to just start singing. Also, our former guitarist, Jackie, and she's sort of like a band god, and I'll explain what I mean in a minute. But she's moved to Texas, and with her, oh yeah, there were a few. So she's in Texas now, and it's changed. It changes everything. We now are going to kind of shift around things and duties in the band. I'm trying to learn guitar. I'm trying to learn ukulele. My bassist knows how to do a lot of stuff, and it's crazy. And then so does the drummer. So I'm just trying to catch up. But so we're gonna kind of figure out how to compose the songs live now. So that's gonna take a little bit of time. Regardless, live opportunities come up, and we will figure that out. I think that if anything, the bandmates and we just love making music. I think as I grow older, I continue trying to figure out, why do I like sharing music with people so much? What is it that really satisfies me about that? But we love it, and the second there's a chance to play, we'll do that. So I think I answered your question.
You did. Absolutely. No, I'm enjoying listening to what you have to say. I think the only question that I have, and this actually might be a great question for everyone in our new music group, and I've shared this with my audience to let them know that myself and 4 other musicians have put together what we call the Thursday Night Music Club, and it's a group of independent musicians that we're all kind of in the same boat one way or the other. We're all have jobs. We all really love to make music, and we're all experiencing something completely different in 2020 and now into 2021 that we've never experienced before. And that's, how to make music differently, how to be successful, how to make, like to your point, making videos with people that you can't be with. I've done the same thing for my show and my music. But what's the end game? I kind of want to end here just in because we've got lots to talk about, I think, for future time too. And I want to capture this though. What's the end game? I mean, you moved to New York, came up there, you're working, you got this band, the pandemic hit. I mean, where do you really see yourself in the next 5 years? Is this going to be the full-time gig? Are you working that way? Or is ultimately your idea is, I love music. I'm going to put out the music any way I can. And I'm going to hope that people hear me and hear the sound. But my riches come from sharing it, not from the number of plays it gets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What's your goal? Is this going to be full-time, or is it going to always kind of be there, just a passion project? What does it look like?
Sure. I think the best way to answer the question is, I think about as a kid when I was playing piano every Sunday on stage and watching how this affected people. I sort of have always had this daydream of being able to do that. There's something about sharing music, and people are hearing the music not to show off, not to do, I don't know, dance or sing because someone else is watching or hearing you. But I guess why I continue to mention that I started in church is because when you're listening to music, at least this is how I felt about it, there's something that's very much about your own soul. There's something about, you're hearing the music and how is it moving you, and it's really something wholesome about that. There's something kind of like it's stirring the heart, and it's not for any sort of uh, self-gratification, other people kind of watching it. So what I'm saying is that there was something beautiful about this phenomena to me, that people would get moved in this way by music, that as I've kind of branched out myself spiritually, anyway, just to kind of throw that in there, I still have retained that need, that wanting to have the music move people, and whoever it is, where people sort of need it, and it's doing something for them that no one else needs to see. And I want to be able to do that, as a living, and I want to be able to. I think this is my calling, to do that, and it would be nice if I was, financially stable just off of making music all the time, and that kind of is the goal. I think that in the next few years, it would be awesome for the band to uh, be able to outreach enough that we are able to meet people, let's say it's safe, at stadiums, and play shows and tour, um, and do these sorts of things. And I think that as a short-term or even long-term goal, that is that's pretty satisfying, if we could have that.
100% agree. I mean, look, I would love to be able to say that I want to get out and do some of that. I'm very practical and very realistic about what I do and my goals. My goals are slightly different, but I mean, everybody has that. I want to get out and play my music. I would love people to come out and see me play, and I know I'm going to be able to do that in this next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm just trying to make it work now. So, get out, meet some people, network, get some new music. I will tell you this though, you got to have content. And so I'm actually working on that myself. And I've got a new song coming out next month. And I know that you've got some new things coming out. So, we keep providing the content, and, if people keep listening one of these days, it may work out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that in a way it is working out. We are being able to share, and there's people, for example, I was listening to you play and you didn't even know it, on watching one of your live streams on your page. And it's like, we don't know who we're inspiring. I think that the way to do it even more is, I guess, just when there's enough response. There's enough response that you can just continue to do it. Let's, I mean, we got to make a living. We have to pay rent, and this kind of, people maybe are coming to shows or whatnot. I wish it could be free, really, but it would just, I think that is really the goal with the band, is to be able to somehow make a living off of doing, just this. I think that we are sort of making it anyway. We are inspiring people, and we don't know, but I just kind of hope that, we can continue to do that, and it could be easier at one point. So.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, and I had a song that released last year that did pretty well on Spotify, and I got hundreds, not kidding, hundreds of emails from people all over the world that I had no idea who they are, and a lot of times I thought they were spam. I'd be like, should I open this?
Is this really happening?
Is that really, but so many nice people, and you're right, you don't know who's listening and what's going on. So
yeah,
I appreciate that perspective. So here's what we're going to do. First off, feel free to plug anything you want to plug. And I'm going to get that out to our audience. We want to make sure we know where to find Jimmy and the band on all your social media platforms, and I'll put them up as well. But I always end the interviews with what I call the final word. The final word is yours. You get to say whatever you want and go.
We are a band about love, and we are a band about inclusion. And I say that because it's just the world really needs that right now. And I think the world's always needed that. And we want to stand on that, that there's just, especially as I was telling you, moving up to New York City has opened my mind to, I kind of thought I had figured out all the different walks of life, and then I realized I hadn't. And there's just so many different kinds of people out there. And we want to continue to help the movement with people embracing that and loving that, and learning that your reality is just yours, and there's a lot more out there, so just open your mind.
That's awesome. Well, everyone, live at Chance's House Season 2 brings you this time around Jimmy Dudding of Jimmy and the Band. They're based out of New York City, and you can find them all over the place. Check out Jimmy and the Band on Spotify. Their latest single is called Fire. Also going to have links to their YouTube account so you can see, rewatch the video that we just saw earlier as well. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. All of that information will be provided. And looking forward to the next time, Jimmy, we can do this. So
Same.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you being here. Guys, live at Chance's House Season 2. Thanks to Jimmy. I'll be on here in just a little bit. Y'all stick around.